Yo, comrades, what's up? So, we're here for Fairy Tale volume number 15. Right in the middle of the grand Fairy Tale hoopla with Laxus and the Raijin Guild versus everybody else so that Laxus can feel like he's worth something or something. Anyway, we pick up all of the Raijin Guild except for Laxus are knocked out. Lucy's taking a little napopotamus with with Happy after he took care or she took care of puppet guy. And the lightning thing's coming and got 10 more minutes to figure it out. At that point, Levy's like very concerned, but then old woman shows up. We get her name around here. It's Polyusika. Polyusika. She demands to know where Makarov is. She goes and looks in on him, and then begs Levy to go find Laxus and tell him that his old man is about to die and that he needs to talk to her right now. We think it's a flashback of Laxus when he's a teenager. He's super mad because Makarov kicked his dad out of the guild because his dad was being like a real asshole. And they argue back and forth about that, what it means to be in Fairy Tale, what's that going to happen. Laxus says, what, you going to fire me too? And he's like, he talks about how his dad like betrayed the guild and all this stuff. And then Laxus swears that someday he'll surpass Makarov so he can be his own man. At that juncture, we go back to Laxus, who's hanging out in like this giant church area where he's been like holed up when Mystigan pops in. And it's like, all right. And then Laxus goes back and forth with Mystigan about who the most powerful one is, whether it's him or Laxus or Mystigan. And then Mystigan mentions Godart. Gildart. Gildart is being the most powerful, and Laxus is like, whatever, that old man, I haven't seen that guy in forever. So then they fight, and we get a sweet-ass shonen anime battle where they're, like, shooting back and forth at each other and going, and then the church is, like, exploding outwards with, like, magical energy because Mystigan and Laxus are so powerful that this alerts both Urza and Natsu to where they're at. So then the next chapter continues, and the church gets, like, blown up as they continue to battle back and forth, and Mystigan does this crazy attack where he summons, like, some sort of demon dragon from, like, the abyssal planes, but it's just an illusion. They continue to fight and go back and forth, and lightning magic, and Mystigan's like crazy magic and whatnot. The shonen anime battle goes on for like quite some time, and finally Natsu and Urza show up right in time so that they can see just in time for Laxus to get to hit Mystigan because Mystigan's distracted that they showed up, and when he gets hit, he gets smacked in the face, and it tears off this like crazy mask. Like helmet, like cloth thing he's wearing, and underneath it's dun 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 Jalel. And Urza's like, Jalel, are you alive? And the Lex is like, wait, you've seen this guy before? And then they're like, wait, are you Jalel? And Mystigan's like, you're the one person I want to see, and also I'm not Jalel. All right, I gotta go. So he takes off, and Natsu and Urza are like, the fuck? And then Laxus attacks Urza, like kind of like a surprise attack, and Natsu's like, you piece of shit, I'm gonna get you. So then he charges at Laxus, and they have Laxus pretty much beats the shit out of Natsu as they are going back and forth in their little like shonen anime battle. They're punch, 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 strike, lightning, fire, this, that, back, forth, and then finally Urza steps in and starts using her powers as well. So they're kind of trying to tag team Laxus, and then she uses her like flame armor and whatnot. And her lightning armor. She transforms into her lightning armor at some point, and Natsu's like, "Hey, what are you doing? He's mine." And Urza looks at him and says, "Yep, I trust you. You got this." And then she runs out because she's gonna go take care of the Lightning Palace. So Laxus is like, "If you try to destroy them, they're gonna kill you." And she's like, "Not if I take them all out at once." And he's like, "You're crazy, bitch." Blah blah blah. And she's like, "Natsu, you got to stop Laxus." And Laxus is like, "I got this." And so they start fighting again, the fire and lightning. Meanwhile, so while Laxus and Natsu are having like a super Dragon Slayer anime battle, and at some point, Natsu during this whole thing finds out that Laxus is also a Dragon Slayer because he uses some ability on him, and he's like, "I used all the powers of like a." Oh no, that happens a little later. Okay, anyway, so we still don't know that he's a Lightning Dragon Slayer. And Natsu's trying to talk to him about how great the guild is and how they should all be friends and what's going on. And then Laxus is being too pig-headed. Meanwhile, Urza's out and she's summoning like every sword she can possibly summon with like all her magic, and it's like straining her, but it's still not enough. It's only enough for like half of the stuff in the sky. And then all the guys who've been hit start waking up, and then she calls out to him using this other guy's like psychic powers to reach everybody. And then everybody's going to take like as many as they can of these the lightning balls in the sky so they can all work together and destroy them all at the same time. And so they're all teaming up and all getting their powers ready, and they're all going to strike at one time, and they all launch, and they strike like all like 300 of them. They destroy them all in like one go, and like, we did it. And then they all get struck by lightning. They're all okay. They're just like knocked the fuck out. And so, and then we see a list of like Urza destroyed like 200 spheres. That guy won. That guy won. That guy won. Gray 4. And Laxus is like, fuck, now I'm mad. And so then he like doubles up his power level or whatever. And so they start fighting. Natsu and him start fighting again. We get a sweet like anime, shonen anime battle for a while. And then bam, 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 bam. And then Laxus is about to use like a super raging bolt move. And then he on Natsu to kill him. And he does. But unfortunately, Gajil, so there's Jajil. This is Gajil. Jalil. This is Gajil. Gajil, the Iron Dragon Slayer. He showed up just in time to like grab Natsu so he didn't get hit by the strike. So Natsu's waking up, and then him and Gajil agree that for the first time and only time ever, they're going to fight together to fight back against Laxus. So then they go. And so the 3 Dragon Slayers are all fighting. I'm trying to remember. It's somewhere around here that they find out. Like, I think it's Gajil calls Laxus out. But yeah, they're having like a shonen anime battle. They're like tag teaming him. Bam, 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 bam. Some super powerful strikes here or there. And then Laxus is like teasing him, like, this is all you got. You should be ashamed to call yourself Dragon Slayers. And then Gajil is like, that's impossible. There's no way you could take that much dragon slaying magic. And that's when they're like, oh shit, he's a Dragon Slayer. And so he does like some super lightning breath attack, which knocks the shit out of Gajil and Natsu. And then he starts like charging up again. He's going to wipe everybody out of existence because he's going to utilize Makarov's signature ability, Fairy Law. And it's like, fuck. It's because Fairy Law, let's see. It targets everything the caster looks on as an enemy, and it does like some ultimate attack, right? And then Gajil's like, fuck, is that what he used against Makarov used against Jose? And then at this point, Levy shows up, and she's like, Laxus, stop it. Your grandfather needs you. He's almost dead. And then Laxus is like, fuck that guy. I don't care if he's dead. That's perfect timing for me to take over. And so he charges, and does Fairy Law, and it blasts like the whole city, and there's like this giant cataclysmic like light shining everywhere. And then as he's standing there, he's like, the fuck? Because Natsu and Gajil are still fine, and Levy's just like standing there coughing. And then God, I forgot what the guy's. Freed shows up, and he's like, it's because the reason it didn't work, dumbass, is because you don't consider members of Fairy Tail to be your enemy. And he's like, yes, I do. And he's like, no, you don't. You hold your comrades dear, and like you can't, like, Fairy Tail only works against like your true enemies. You don't view them as like your free enemies. And then Laxus like loses it. He talks about how he ain't his old man's grandson. He's his own man, and this is like his whole thing. And then Natsu's like finally had fucking enough of this, and he's like, the whole guild is family, you asshole. And so then he charges up like a fire attack, and then they start fighting again. I know this volume's fucking awesome. It's just like fight after fight after fight, like very little chit chat. So they start fighting and punching and going back and forth, and Levy's like, shit, Natsu's taking it like he's getting beat the shit out of him. And he just keeps getting up, and Laxus keeps getting madder, and he does this like lightning crazy attack, and then at some point Gajil like uses his iron to absorb the lightning attack so Natsu can keep fighting, and then Natsu's like, that's it, I've had enough of this fucking shit. And so then he does like this ultimate dragon slaying, like it's an ultimate like attack to use against dragon slayers, and he just hits Laxus so fucking hard he knocks him the fuck out. And then we end the main story with Natsu standing there like screaming into the heavens in this like fucking amazing like panel as Laxus is laying there unconscious. And when I say last in the main story, it's because we get a little side story, and we start off with like a panty shot of Lucy. So 100%, this is the best. I love the side stories. Anyway, it's just Lucy helping Mira Jane in like the library in like another point in time. And this one focuses on like a past event. And so back in the day, when all of like 10 years ago or whatever, we had like little kid Natsu. Oh, this is 6 years ago. So 6 years, so 16. So this has been like 10-year-old Natsu. He finds a giant egg, and he's like, I found a dragon egg. It's awesome. And we see like Gray and Urza, and Makarov's a little younger. And then we see Mira Jane is like punk rock Mary Jane before she like, and then her sister's there, Mira. Yep, Mira and Mira Jane. That's right. Oh, no, sorry. It's Lysana. So Lysana is a little sister who supposedly got killed because Elfman wasn't able to save her, or he killed her or something. It's like kind of a mystery that will get resolved later. And so Lysana clearly has like a little crush on Natsu, because she agrees to be like the mommy to his daddy for the egg, and she has, the monster transform magic. She transforms into like a giant cockatrice kind of like monster from like Final Fantasy, like the chicken kind, not the beast kind. And then she's gonna like sit on the egg, and then her and Natsu like escape out to like this park so they can like take care of the egg, make sure it's okay. And Mira Jane's like pissed off because Natsu is part of like Urza's faction, and Mira Jane and Urza like hate each other at this point. And so, but then we have like the cute little scene I was saying where Lysiana and Natsu are like talking about being mommy and daddy, and like Lysiana's like, will you marry me someday? And he's like, what? And And then the egg disappears. Whoa, what happened to it? Oh no. And so Natsu gets like super mad, and they run back to the guild, and he's like accusing Laxus and Urza and Mara Jane, and he's about to like fight Mara Jane, and Gray's there, and then all of a sudden Elfman comes out. He's like, I got the egg. You guys were like sleeping, so I wanted to make sure it was okay. So I took care of it. And it's like, oh, phew, thank goodness. And then the egg starts to crack, and it's like, and then out pops not a dragon, because Natsu thought it was a dragon egg, but Happy. Oh, this is where Happy came from. That's awesome. And so everyone's super happy, and Natsu's like, oh, he looks so happy. I'm gonna call him Happy, and he's my best friend forever. And then we go back to like the quote unquote present, and there's Lucy sitting there watching Happy eat like an egg with fish. And she's like, so you came from an egg. And that wraps up volume 15, which continues to be excellent. So go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you guys later.